Jess Phillips.
Thank you, Mrs Deputy Speaker. Or in a feminist debate, I'm going to say Ms Deputy Speaker. I would like to also congratulate all of the people who've made their maiden speeches and just remind the House that when we say maiden, what we mean is somebody who's inexperienced. So that's another one for some sexist language that gets used. I wonder if Ms Deputy Speaker has read Caitlin Moran's book, How to Be a Woman. Yeah. In this book, she compels people to stand on their chairs and shout, "I am a feminist." Perhaps if the motion today carries, the Speaker would allow us the indulgence of standing on these green benches all together to shout those very words. If it passes from all across the House, we would have done something really feminist. I proudly say that I am a feminist, and a bit of feminist marauding in this chamber would be a very welcome relief from some of the groaning that we normally get. Taking the title of Miss Moran's book, How to Be a Woman, it seems that the answer before us today is very simple, and that is to get paid less. In my constituency, for every pound a man earns, a woman earns 83 pence. This is not always because women are simply being paid less for the same job, although that is obviously a feature. It is because we simply value the work that women do less. I went to university and I have, in fact, 2 degrees, and after leaving university, I had the misfortune of, having 2 children, who are both sons, incidentally. I don't have the daughter bell to ring. And I went back to work quite quickly, thanks to the tax credits that I received, to enable me to do that. And I, for the first 7 years of my career, earned less than my husband, who, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, I'm not sure he even has a GCSE, because the work that he did was man's work. He's a lift engineer. It was man's work, considered to be man's work, and after all, I was just working in a charity helping victims of domestic and sexual violence. So, the value is there for you to see. Birmingham, like so many local authorities across the country, have paid the price for the lack of equal pay in exceptionally costly and, I'm afraid to say, bankrupting settlements with care workers, social workers, cleaners and dinner ladies paid less than binmen. Because after all, why should we value those who look after our elderly relatives and feed our children? However, Birmingham City Council is trying to settle this score, and the Labour Council's work around paying all staff a living wage and demanding all contractors, including care contractors, pay a living wage is a huge step forward in equalising some of both the public and private sector pay in the city I love. I commend any advancement towards the living wage. However, I bet if I were to still look at the 2 large public sector contractors in the city and compare what the women earn, there would still be a stark pay disparity between the jobs that men are doing, like highways engineers, ground staff and building contractors, and the work with a majority women's workforce, caring, nursing, cleaning, feeding. To add insult to this... Yes?
I thank the Honourable Lady for giving me that point, but it was surely systemic discrimination that in supposedly male-dominated workplaces they were paid bonus, whereas the cleaning, catering staff, etc. were not. And can I ask her, in terms of the Birmingham example, did central government help Birmingham City Council out in settling these claims?
To the best of my knowledge, the answer is no. I believe what we're doing in Birmingham is selling the family silver and things like the NEC and, to settle the equal pay claim. I'm not going to sit in criticism of the fact that they have to do that. Birmingham City Council should have paid the women more from the beginning of time, but you're absolutely right when you talk about overtime. There is certainly my husband, the reason he earned so much more than me is because the overtime that he did was paid, whereas mine was just part of my job. So, to add insult to the injury of the vast majority of unpaid work that is done by us, the very much fairer sex, I sometimes fantasise that all the women in the country would go on strike just for one day to stop doing everything that we do for free to care for children, care for grandchildren, care for relatives, friends and neighbours. Imagine the cost to social services if we withdrew our labour. Perhaps women's jobs are paid so poorly because we forgot the bit of the business model that says you will devalue it if you give it away for free. The constant rhetoric about hard-working families seems to forget that the hardest work of all is that which pays nothing. I challenge anyone to stay at home permanently with a couple of kids and deliver meals, care and company to your dying mother and tell me that that isn't hard work. I have lots of caring responsibilities, and let me tell you, coming to this place and going to any work is like being on holiday. Having worked for years with women beaten and abused because of their gender, perhaps I am less keen to herald how far we have come. I know that to be a good and honest and decent society that we can all be proud of, society needs to value its women. There is a very well evidenced and reliable link between violence against women and their general standing in society. This is not just about money and pound signs. This debate is about value and worth. We have a chance to do something good here today, to push companies and the country to place equal value on the work of half of the population. We have a chance to show our mothers, our wives, our daughters, our constituents that they matter and their rights matter. And if we do this today, I will gladly stand on these chairs or the chairs in the bar later with any member from any party and declare in unison that we are feminists. And should it not pass, I can't afford it, I shall know, like so many before me, that I shouldn't have bothered to speak up, because after all, I'm just a girl. Yeah.